Islam as a freed slave from Afghanistan. And Abu Hanifa's grandson, Ismail ibn Hamad ibn Nouman, the grandson of Abu Hanifa, he says that we are from Abna'i Faris al-Ahrar. We are from the free children of the people of Persia. He said that I swear by Allah that we were never slaves. And my grandfather was born the year 80 after Hijrah, so he's referring to Abu Hanifa. And he said his father, Thabit, the father of Abu Hanifa, as a young man, served Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu made dua for him and his offspring, and we hope that Allah answered the dua of Ali radiallahu anhu for us. Meaning Ali took this, subhanAllah, we saw it in Salama going to Hassan al-Basri and Ummahat al-Mu'mineen. Right? The power of these du'as, the power of these supplications that were made by these companions. SubhanAllah, Ali ibn Abi Talib saw the grandfather of Abu Hanifa and he served him, and he made dua for him and his dhurriyyah. He made dua for him and his children. And we hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answered the dua of Ali ibn Abi Talib for us. And subhanAllah, the personality types, when we talk about the influence of the Abadila, the great Abdullahs from the companions, the personality types even came into these Imams. Because Ibn Mas'ud, who will influence the Hanafi madhab most, who will influence Imam Abu Hanifa most, Ibn Mas'ud was someone that gained his respect and his honor purely by knowledge and not by his lineage. No one can claim that Ibn Mas'ud reached the position that he reached because of his family or because of his lineage, and the same is true for Abu Hanifa, right? And you'll see that the same thing, Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, who's from the family of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from the Abadila, influences Ash-Shafi'i, who's also from the family of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Ibn Omar, who lives in Medina and who loves the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ and imitates him, influences Imam Malik. So the personality types are also coming into the lives of these Imams, and we find very similar life stories as well. Now the parents of Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, their story of meeting is truly a phenomenal and beautiful story, and it shows you at-tayyibuna lit-tayyibat, pure men are for pure women. Thabit ibn Zulta, he was once walking, and this is before he gets married, to the mother of Abu Hanifa. And as he was walking, there was a tree of fruit and it was hanging over the fence of the garden. So just imagine that you're walking and you see this garden and you see this tree and it's hanging over the fence. So he grabbed one of the fruits and he ate it. Then he felt bad. So he went back to the owner of that house and he told him, look, I ate one of your fruits. I want to pay for it. And I feel bad. I didn't ask your permission, and so on and so forth. And the owner of the house, he said, you really want to make it up to me? I said, yes. So he said, marry my daughter. So he was like, okay, that's a pretty sweet deal, but he said, but here's the thing. He said, my daughter is deaf, she's mute, and, she also has issues with, she also is not mentally all there. She's not going to really, she doesn't understand much. She's deaf, she's mute, and in one narration, she's even blind. All right? So this no longer appeared to be such a sweet deal for him. So he said, are you still willing to do it? So Thabit said, let me think about it. And then he came back to me and said, if this is the only way you'll forgive me for taking that fruit, subhanAllah, he feared Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that fruit on the Day of Judgment. He said, I'll do it. If this is the way to gain your forgiveness, I'll do it. So he entered upon this woman the first time and he said, Salamu alaikum. And he didn't even look at her because he was like, this is going to be a disaster. And she said, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So he looked at her and he was like, what? Like, you heard me and you can speak and you can see, and she was also a beautiful woman as well. So he's like, what is this? Your father said that you were like this. And she responded and she said that I am deaf from all of that which is displeasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I don't hear backbiting, I don't hear lying, I don't hear slander. I have purified my ears from al-laghu, from idle speech. I don't even listen to that stuff. She said, I'm mute from speaking in a way that Allah is not pleased with, and my eyes are blinded from the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told me to lower my gaze from, and I have purposely put myself into ignorance of knowledge which is not beneficial. I've purposely remained ignorant of that which is not beneficial to me. SubhanAllah, that was her answer, and they got married, and from this marriage comes Abu Hanifa rahimahullah ta'ala. So it starts off with the righteous parents. It starts off with an instance, subhanAllah, of righteous parents. You want righteous children? Think about it before you get married. And for those of you that are already married, may Allah help you all right? But those of you that aren't married, you still have hope, okay? Go steal someone's apple and see how that works out for you, all right? I'm just playing. But, think about righteousness, the righteousness of your children before you actually get married. It starts off with the parents. Now, Abu Hanifa, rahimahullah, his name was Nouman, all right? His name was Nouman ibn Thabit. And his physical appearance is that he was very tall, very handsome. He had brown skin. He had the mark of sujood on his forehead, a very clear mark of sujood on his forehead. He had the mark of tears on his cheeks from the amount of crying that he used to do. And one thing about him, he wore the nicest of clothes. He was very well dressed. And subhanAllah, despite the marks of tears and the mark of sujood and so on and so forth, always smiling, always laughing, a very easygoing person. And subhanAllah, when you study the life of Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, it's amazing how easygoing he was. Very easygoing person. He also, the first two imams of the four imams were very wealthy. Imam Abu Hanifa and Imam Malik, when you study them, you're going to study very rich, wealthy men, very well dressed, very high in their society and things of that sort, that lived very good lives. All right? So you're not going to study, and that automatically shatters the appearance of the imams of the past. They weren't hermits. They weren't living in masajid and things of that sort and not interacting with their society. They were both very, very successful people, lived in very nice houses, ate very well, dressed very well, and had that sort of influence on their society. So how does he get rich? Where does the wealth come from? His father was Khazzaz. His father was a silk trader. Okay? And Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah ta'ala grew up helping his father in business. So he learned very early on how to make patterns, how to sew clothes together. So Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, his description as a merchant, by the way, and subhanAllah, this is just how smart he was. All right? He was able to look at a piece of cloth and without really touching it, he could already tell you what its material was, whether it was good quality or not. He could guess the price by looking at it, and he could look at the cloth. He could properly choose them when he went to the marketplace and bought cloth. And then when he put it together, Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah was very skilled in making patterns and so on and so forth. So Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah was a skilled silk trader very, very early on with his father. All right, he helped his father, and subhanAllah, the narrations actually, they say that he went with his father to business when he was 5 years old. Like, his father started bringing him along and he started learning the trade, he started teaching him when he was 5 years old. Now, what was his father's reputation in the marketplace? Remember Imam al-Bukhari's father? His father's reputation was two things. Number one, halal wealth. Halal rizq. The man will not earn a penny of haram. He will not jack up a price on you. He will not swear by his product, which the Prophet ﷺ forbade, to say, Wallahi, this is the best out there. He wouldn't do any of that. Very honest businessman, and he was known for his taqwa. He was known for his fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he was so afraid of wronging anyone he did business with in the marketplace. Subhanallah, I always hear this, because we're going to talk right now. I want to talk about how Imam Abu Hanifa was as a merchant as well. Before and after he becomes a scholar. You tell someone to leave haram earning and haram income, and they say, if I do that, then I'm going to be broke. And that shows that you've forgotten who Ar-Razzaq is. You've forgotten who the one who gives sustenance is, right? That shows that you actually have an issue in your creed. If you think that by giving up haram, Allah is going to put you into poverty. So these people were very, very, very honest. Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, that's his reputation as a businessman as well. He never lied about what he had, never lied about his product. He never took advantage of an ignorant customer. Because nowadays, mashallah, there are a lot of ignorant customers, and we're usually of them, the ignorant consumers. You walk into a place, and because it has a certain brand name on it, and because of whatever, a few sentences, you'll pay a few $100 extra, because it's supposedly a lot better, but the quality of it, we can't even tell. We can't look at it. All right? So he didn't take advantage of those people. He never swore to sell a product. He never made a profit off of a poor person. Which means that if Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah had someone in front of him that was clearly barely making it, Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah would sell the garment to that person at cost price. He wouldn't make a profit off of someone that was in difficult circumstances. He never lied about a defect in a garment. This was common, especially back then in the aswaq. It still is in the marketplaces, right? If you have something in the food that's not really good, then you hide that part with a good outer appearance. If a cloth has a defect in it, then you find a way to patch it up, whatever it may be, put something on it, stitch over it. So he never lied about any defect or any damage of a garment. Another thing